She turned around and asked why I was looking at her, but I couldn't believe her next move. It was one of those rare late afternoons when the sunlight poured into the coffee shop just right, casting long golden stripes across the floor. I had come in hoping for a quiet hour to catch up on my writing, my laptop humming softly on the table by the window. The cafe wasn't crowded yet, just a few people scattered at tables, immersed in conversations or buried in their laptops. That's when I saw her. She walked in like she owned the space, though subtly, with a confidence that didn't scream for attention but simply radiated. Her hair, dark and wavy, fell just below her shoulders, bouncing slightly with each step. She wore a casual leather jacket, dark jeans and ankle boots, but there was something about the way she moved, graceful, unself-conscious, that caught my attention before I even realized it. I was trying honestly to focus on my work. But then she turned to pick a table near the back. And in that moment, as she bent slightly to tug a chair out, I caught myself staring a little longer than I should have. My gaze drifted downward. An instinct, a momentary lapse, nothing intentional. But it was too late, she noticed. She froze mid-step, slowly turning around to face me, her eyes sharp, yet not angry. Instead, there was a spark of amusement, as though she already knew something I hadn't admitted. "Why are you looking at my butt?" she asked, her voice teasing but direct. My face went hot. I could barely find words, fumbling like a teenager caught in a hall pass violation. I wasn't, My sentences collided in awkward stammers. The cafe seemed to shrink around me, the murmur of other patrons fading into the background. She tilted her head slightly, waiting, clearly enjoying my discomfort. Then, with a smile that disarmed me instantly, she said, "You know, honesty works better than excuses." I swallowed, nodding, feeling like my ego had just been hand-delivered to the floor. "Okay." I was staring. I didn't mean to, My words failed and I trailed off embarrassed. Her laugh was soft but deliberate, filling the space between us. "Well," she said, stepping closer, "since you've admitted it, maybe you should at least explain yourself properly. I'm curious if your story is worth my time." I blinked, taken aback by the challenge. Most people would have turned away, judged me, or walked off. But her tone wasn't hostile. It was mischievous, playful, almost like she wanted to see if I could rise to the occasion. I guess," I started slowly. "I noticed you because you move differently, confidently. There's an aura about you and I got distracted. I wasn't just," I gestured helplessly. "Well, you know. I'm sorry." She laughed again, shaking her head. "You're trying too hard to sound polite. Why don't you just admit you noticed me, all of me, and see where it goes?" I blinked at her, stunned by the directness. Most people I knew would have found that bold, maybe even offensive. But for some reason with her it felt like a dare I wanted to accept. "Okay," I said finally. "I noticed you. You're striking. And yes, I looked, and I probably shouldn't have, but only because you caught my attention." Her eyes softened, a glimmer of approval. Then, without a word, she leaned closer and whispered, "Good. Honesty can be sexy." She straightened, turning back toward the counter as if nothing had happened, leaving me blinking like a fool. I shook my head, trying to regain composure, when she surprised me again. She moved to the table next to mine and sat down, facing me. "You're not leaving now, are you?" she asked, eyebrow raised. I hesitated. I guess not." "Good," she said, tucking her hair behind her ear. "Because I want to know more about the person who got caught staring. You seem interesting." We talked for hours, though I barely noticed the passage of time. She had a sharp wit, but it was tempered with a warmth that drew people in effortlessly. Every once in a while, she would tilt in a way that reminded me, unapologetically, that she knew the effect she had. And every time I felt the same nervous excitement, the same awareness that I was standing on a line I'd never imagined crossing in a cafe. Finally, as the sun dipped below the horizon, casting the room in soft orange light, she stood up. "You've been surprisingly tolerable," she said, smirking. "And maybe even worth another coffee sometime." I laughed, heart racing. "I'd like that." She leaned down, close enough that I could smell the faint scent of her perfume, a mix of something floral and earthy. "Then don't be shy next time. Just be honest. That's all it takes." And with that, she walked out, leaving a swirl of confidence and laughter in her wake. I sat there, stunned, my notebook forgotten, my thoughts scattered across the cafe floor like the last rays of sunlight. I realized something profound in that moment. Sometimes the bravest move isn't hiding your mistakes, it's owning them, and occasionally, it might just lead to something unexpected. Something thrilling. Something unforgettable. I smiled to myself, already knowing I'd be coming back tomorrow, hoping for another chance encounter with a girl who could turn an awkward confession into a spark of connection.